this is Sheila Mac. Thank you again for tuning in, and I have some homework for you. So go and get your copy of the new bootstraps and bra straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. It is now on Amazon, Audible, Kindle, and all major bookstores. And get ready to tune in daily as I share the Business Leader Reboot. So that is starting a business, side business, or extra income. I don't care if you're starting from zero, rebooting, starting over completely. We are going to go through the steps over this year slowly together to rebuild, reboot, and reinvent your business and personal life, or your career and personal life on your terms. And I will also be sharing about investing in properties and how to get some passive income going this year as well. So stay tuned.
Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today we have special guest Rosie Mangiarotti, a Long Island native, graduated from Brown in 2018, where she studied business and entrepreneurship. In a junior year entrepreneurship coach, she pitched her idea for a better sticky bra, a bra with replacement adhesives. She worked with her team that semester, creating a business plan, and upon graduating, she decided to pursue her venture, Perkies, full time. She has been working on this for 3 years now and has 3 primary products on her website. All right, welcome to the show, Rosie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Sheila.
And the first thing I like to ask is this show is actually based on my new best-selling book. I'll show you the picture. Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And so I like to start off by asking if you have a time in your business or personal life where you experienced a tough situation and how you got back on track.
Oh, that's a good question. I always like to think back to like the initial years of starting this company. I had graduated Brown and decided to pursue this venture full time. And it was really hard because I had to create a product and raise money. And I couldn't raise money without a product, but I couldn't create a product without raising money. And it kind of put me in a bit of a pickle. And I thankfully was resourceful, and I kind of sacrificed time in order to create this innovative concept of a stick-on bra with replaceable adhesives. And basically, for those who are listening and aren't familiar with the sticky bras are backless and strapless bras that stick on directly to a woman's breasts. But after a few wears, they begin to lose adhesion and they get dirty and they're rendered useless. So by offering replacement adhesives, all problems are solved, and it's also a more sustainable and affordable option. So anyway, so I graduated and was kind of like, how do I do this? And it literally took 3 years from when I graduated to when I actually had this hero product out. But I do look at it as a hidden blessing, because over that time I networked with everyone, learned how to manufacture a product, learned how to source fabrics and whatnot, and was really able to build out the Perkies brand, the name, the color scheme, the vibe, the whole brand identity. And, I guess you could look at that as rock bottom, just like not knowing how the heck to start. But at the same time, I was 22 2 years old, right out of college, had, the rest of my life ahead of me, and I didn't have children to support or a husband or a house. I moved home with my parents, and I'm still here.
Oh,
But I was very fortunate to not be taking on all the liability while
right.
starting a company. So that kind of positioned me to, you know, work through the hurdles and get to where I am today.
That's incredible. What a story. And to start out so young, that's great. That's one of the things that you learn. It's like you get a PhD in how to start a business, but you have to actually do it. There's no, you can get a degree, that's great. But when you actually do the work and you have trial and error, mistake, learnings, all these beautiful things, that's when you get to the end of it and you kind of know way more. And just like in a couple years, so much more than you've
Exactly.
ever thought you even needed to learn.
Literally today, I learned like 5 new things, and I'm like, whoa, this is part of it. People say
Yeah,
it's like an accelerated MBA. And
that
instead of
is.
spending the money, you're hopefully
Mhm.
making it. Not yet for me, but soon.
Yes, yes. So now I want to share a little secret about me that not everybody knows, and that is the bra on my cover of my book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, actually came in memory of my grandmother who actually had a clothing manufacturing company. It was Catalina Sportswear. She did bras and swimsuits. And so I literally, when I was in first grade or kindergarten, my first teacher ever, I told her that she needed a new bra and my grandma could help her out. And after school, my grandmother talked to the teacher because the teacher was kind of concerned, and then she ended up with this new bra. And so I came from that. So
I hope my grandchildren vouch for me one day like that.
that's so crazy. Yeah, I grew up, we had 200 employees that grandma had, and that's where I was like every day, 3, 4 years old. I was in this clothing manufacturing, she called it the factory.
That's
And they would
amazing.
produce all these beautiful bras and swimsuits and this and that, sportswear. So that was my
A real
background.
hands-on experience. I
Yeah.
love that. That's such a funny
So,
story.
like, I still to this day, I feel fabrics and I can't help and I look at stitching and it's just like I didn't go to school for that, but I know it like the back of my hand. So
Yeah, I
it's just
love that.
something. It is. So it's something that and that was kind of the memory for her, and she would get it and love that. So
That's so sweet.
yeah, yeah. So where do you see this going as far as creating more products or branching out? What's the next plan?
Yes, thank you for the question. So it's funny because, as I mentioned, the bra took so long to make that in the meantime, I launched Perkies Petals, which are reusable nipple covers. So for some women, they don't need the, full coverage, or the shirt that they're wearing, depending on the shirt that they're wearing, they don't need the full coverage of like a full sticky bra. So they opt for nipple covers, otherwise known as like breast pasties or petals. So anyway, I ended up launching those before the bra. And those come in 3 shades of nude. And they actually are my number one selling product, believe it or not, which is not surprising for any investor. They see this all the time. Like the hero product gets you on the map, but it's
Mhm.
these supplementary products that kind of continue allowing for that cash flow and revenue stream.
Right.
So I did actually start with that product. Then I have the bras, and then I had like was selling hats too, just kind of to get the name out there. And then one of my advisors asked me if, to see like how many people are buying the replacement adhesives. So I went through Shopify to kind of look at my orders, and I realized that 30% of people buying from my website were buying more than one product, and which is a crazy stat for someone with like two real products on their website. Um, so then did some market research and found that seamless thongs are kind of the type of underwear that people are opting for these days. I found a manufacturer that makes quality seamless thongs and cheekies, and made sure they made them in at least 2 shades of nude. And anyway, I launched those back or in November, last month. And those have been doing very well. And now 40% of people buying from my website are buying more than one product. So I feel like just driving traffic to the website, like build it and they will come. That's kind of what I'm seeing. So that's kind of what I have right now. And I am working on an innovative sports bra concept to be announced or to be released early summer, late spring. So that's been a fun project I've been working on. And that'll be our first, it's kind of like a sports bra demi top. So that'll be our first outerwear, which I'm excited to make that move because it's hard, making the invisible visible. Like the whole point of the Perkies brand is to be underclothes. So it'll be exciting to create a product, an outerwear product. And Sarah Blakely is my end all be all idol. I love her.
Yes.
She's most women's idol, I believe, especially women who are also in the undergarment sector. But she's just such a boss woman, a great mom, wife, founder, friend. She really does it all. And that's kind of who I can see myself one day, not being her, but living that type of life, being like the best in all those categories I just mentioned while running this awesome company and growing it. And just this past month, she sold a majority stake in it to Blackstone at a $1.2 billion valuation.
Wow.
So, and she was great. Like it took her that many years. She started it when she was my age. This is like 30 years later that she did that. So it's, been amazing to watch Spanx go from like the one pair of pantyhose to leggings, arm tights, bras, you name it. So I could see myself, expanding potentially to that degree. But it is really fun starting a company. So for all I know, maybe I'll sell this one, start a new company, or invest in future female founders. I think that would also be a cool pathway to go down, or maybe interweave that into a new company I one day start.
That's great. Now, what was the biggest challenge in being a female starting this whole new business? Was there a challenge that really was like, what? It's kind of surprising out there?
Yeah. So I do think I'm fortunate to live in this time of like more awareness around female founders and openness to female founders and recognition around female founders and like what they bring to the table. They represent 50% of the population. Like male investors are stupid to not understand female needs, or ignorant to not understand female needs. So I do think like we are living in a time, thankfully, again, there's so much more progress that needs to be made, but I have noticed that like, I'm sure a lot of investors have been trying to diversify their portfolio now that they recognize the benefits to diversifying their portfolios in terms of like who they invest in and what types of companies they invest in. And I guess there's more so, I mean, there are more male investors than female investors, and more money being put towards male founded companies than female founded companies. So I guess it's been a lot of explaining what the product is and what the customer pain point is. And usually these men will go back to their wives, sisters, daughters, if they're old enough, to kind of get that feedback on like, does this idea make sense? Because they can't really go out and try it out themselves. But yeah, I heard one story of someone's like one guy saying something about me behind my back about me not being capable to do this. But that was the only bad experience I've had, which is lucky.
It's almost funny because you're young and you're female. And I remember so many times where that gave me the upper hand because people had an idea in their mind that, because I started my first business at, 23, 24, opening big gift stores and all this. And it was just like the it was like a secret, it was like, boom, surprise, because they didn't
Exactly.
expect anything from me. And I was like, all right then. Fine. You want to think that? Go ahead. Think that. Just stay
Exactly.
asleep.
Prove them wrong.
Yeah, they were so wrong. So there is something about people judging based on a gender or age or anything where it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And when I had my store, I hired lots of women that wanted to leave, like Nordstrom's, these big brand companies, to work for my stores. I ended up with 5. And when they came over to my store, I gave them flex time. And I gave them, like, I had 2 nannies and they could have the children there
Mhm.
nearby. And that was all I could offer because I'm this young person starting out.
Yeah.
And we outsold like the Crabtree and Evelyn in the mall. They had trips. My lead salespeople would get trips to London
Love that.
because we sold so much. And it was fun because nobody expected it. And then I hired all these young kids emancipating from foster care that nobody wanted to hire. But I came from that when I was a kid at a certain point. So I could interview and I could see, oh my gosh, this is talent that, they have like some street
Wow, I love
success.
that.
They survived and they really want a chance. And they were like family. And so nobody ever stole a penny, and they were present for everything, and they helped the business grow. And now
Oh, I love
they're all
that.
grown. They are all grown and they have their own companies. So that was people that missed out on these great young kids or women that worked for me that were just
You have the last laugh, you know?
yeah, it was the best. It was the best.
Wow.
It was the secret weapon in my marketing and my business that really helped.
Yeah. And I do think it is also like a matter of confidence. Like you can't let other people's views or thoughts about you bring you down. I'm sure some people would kind of be like, no, it's a male dominated
Mhm.
world. Like I'm not supposed to be a founder. I'm a woman, whatever. But I think a lot of it comes from inside and your confidence and your willingness to overcome that and not be phased by people
Mhm.
like that. And, um, you know, recognize how far confidence can really take you.
Yeah, and there's this resilience that there are so many times I made mistakes starting out my store and business. Oh, I made every single mistake in the book and then some new ones. And it was like I just like laughed about it. I guess maybe I was young enough to like not take it seriously. And it wasn't like a reflection on me. It was like that's just part of the learning. That's not a big deal. And just dust yourself off like the book, pull yourself back up and get back on track.
Exactly.
And that's it, where you just a lot of people will give up if one
Mhm.
thing doesn't work out, and there's like 100, probably hundreds of things didn't work out when you were starting.
Oh, it was like my entire job was putting out fires. It
Yeah.
still kind of is. But no, I played lacrosse in college and we always talked about like things are gonna go wrong. And it's not
Mhm,
the action, it's your reaction. Like
mhm.
90% of life is how you react to things.
Yes.
And I've completely taken that with me on this entrepreneurial journey. Like things go wrong, whether you freak out about it or take a deep breath and handle it, it's going to have the same, like, or the thing still already happened.
Mhm, mhm.
So pull your bootstraps up and deal with it.
Yes.
Um, and don't freak out about it. Don't get down on yourself. Don't quit on
Mhm.
yourself. It's just part of the journey. And everyone always talks about not giving up. There's a reason for that.
Yes, that's so true. Now I'm imagining, I guess the size is one size fits all, or are there various
So
small,
yeah, so
large?
for the Perkies Petals, those are pretty much one size fits all.
Okay.
Um, and then the bras, so the tricky part about a sticky bra is
Yeah.
it doesn't have a back or straps. So it doesn't pull up necessarily. So for right now, the bras come in 3 sizes, A, B, and C. We're looking to expand. We're also looking into boob tape. will
Hmm.
provide that lift. But for right now, it's just A, B, and C sizes for the bra. And then the underwear, Perkies Panties, thongs, and cheekies are extra small to extra large.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great. And that's something that, you know, what do you think about giving, if you were to go back in time and give yourself advice before starting this, what would be your main advice?
Good question. Like, I don't know if I am in a position to give myself advice. Yeah, maybe in like 10 years. Um,
Or a warning, like what would you say?
oh,
Let me just like kind of give you this warning before you start.
um, let me think. Um, that's like just don't be bogged down by the nose. I'm sure a couple years ago, like when someone didn't want to invest in someone with no experience, no product, no, like no, nothing.
Mhm.
I'm sure at points got really frustrated. But now I kind of brush it off. Like I don't let it literally anything phase me these days. I've been through the ringer. But I'd say, yeah, that'd probably be my piece of advice. I'm sure I could think of others.
That's a good one. And yeah, so one of the things that's really important is to remember if you're tuning in and you're starting a business, that it's not like going to be overnight success. It's going to be how many years now? 3 years. It's
Yes.
going to take a few minutes, like 6 months to a year to for people to even know you're up to something different. And that's like your circle of influence. And there's so much marketing. So how does marketing work for you? How is that going?
Exactly. So I initially, literally up until like this past month, have been solely word of mouth, which is great because I think organic growth is super important. And, having people tell friends about it is like the ultimate, proof of concept. It means you've created a good product that works and people are willing to share it. So that's been great. Obviously, social media channels, just my own promotion on my own personal account, like leveraging my own network is so important. Sending out update emails to friends, family, potential investors, alums from Brown, alums from my high school, keeping everyone in the know has been great too. It's been like every 6 months I try to send out an update, which has been great because people feel like they're invested in the journey. And that has also kind of been a good marketing strategy because those people typically end up purchasing. And just like trying to capture emails over the last few years has been super important because now they're all on my marketing email lists. And then I just started paid advertising last month through Instagram, Facebook, which is, starting. We're trying to, still figure it out.
Mhm.
But I'm excited to kind of see how that happens. And I'm looking into ulterior ways. Influencers. I spoke with another Brown founder the other day who started a company called Stack Influence for nano influencers to kind of
Mm.
promote your product with a more engaged following than macro influencers. So that's like it's just like a strategic way to kind of get your product out there and hear reviews and kind of have people promote it. And then even I found you through Podcorn, which is a podcast app or website where you can kind of talk about what your company does, and people who either have shows or podcasts can connect with you, and you could work with them to kind of either do an interview or be advertised in their mid roll or their pre roll, which is another like cool, different type of advertising as opposed to, an Instagram ad. So it's been fun. And this is one of my favorite types of, things that have come out of what I'm doing. Like doing a live interview is awesome.
Yes, yes. That's great. And so now I'd love for you to share if you have like a book that inspired you or something that kind of helped you through this as far as a business book or an inspirational, motivational book.
Okay. There are two books. One of them kind of got my wheels turning towards going into the nonprofit field, which didn't end up happening. However, I do fully intend to be more involved in the nonprofit world, whether it's starting a company in that space or right now I already donate 5% of proceeds to different charities, and the person checking out could actually choose what charity that percentage goes to. But that I was inspired by Adam Braun's Pencils of Promise book, and Adam Braun is also a Brown alum. But anyway, that's like a future. When one day I have like a big nonprofit, I'll give that book credit. But for the entrepreneurship book that really inspired me was Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, founder of Nike. And I read that probably back in high school and then again in college. And both times it just struck a chord with me. And I realized that starting a company isn't going to be easy, but it's something that I'm going to do and something that I'm going to succeed at. And yeah, I mean, you should, I don't know have you read that book, Sheila?
No, I haven't. I'm like going to go read that for
I
sure.
recommend it. It's really a good read and inspiring, and especially for a founder. But yeah, I mean, everyone has their own stories. The How I Built This podcast is another great source of inspiration, hearing from all of these founders that had really, really, really low points that they didn't think they could come back from. And they did. So it's just cool to know, like, you might feel alone in this journey, especially as a solo founder, but every other founder has been through the same struggles as you have, or worse.
Yes. I think there's one thing as a young business owner that I learned starting so young myself was I had to say no a lot to all the fun things. And I was like, oh man, I want to go out, but I got business. I gotta go do these things. And it was that prioritizing. And it was really hard because everybody was out having fun and I was still at work. And then it started paying off. And that's kind of the difference, is you've got to have that stick to itness, I guess, to go through that time where you have to really, like, I would go out once or twice a week instead of every day. I mean, Beverly Hills, like, you could go out every single night here. And so that's just the way it is. And a lot of times I'd have to say no. And that's just, yeah. So that was a tough one for me.
Yeah. But I do think, I mean, for me personally, I mean, I live at home, so I'm like home Monday through Friday. So like, whether I like it or not, I'm usually like working late and, not much is going on in my hometown. But on weekends, I'm usually in the city. But I honestly have found so much success in meeting people in the city and socializing, because I am creating a product for my personal demographic. Friends who I hang out with, guys who I hang out with, their girlfriends, sisters, their friends. And I find it incredibly helpful when I do socialize with those types of people. And a lot of times, they're giving me good advice, and, I'm kind of getting a finger on a pulse on the market and kind of like what people are wearing, what people are doing, what people are spending. But I also, hear great ideas from them, and also I'm connected to people through them. One of my good friends just connected me with a guy who's helping me run all these digital advertisements, and he's not charging me a dime, just through like a close friend connection. But that happened over dinner one night. Like it's just things like that can happen when you put yourself out there and say yes to things. Obviously not going out every night of the week.
Right. No, yeah, it's kind of like prioritizing.
Yeah, taking a couple nights, or saying yes to a few social things, I think is very beneficial for me personally and Perkies.
Now, how did that show up as far as now that you have this, you're working from home? How did this COVID situation and the pandemic, did that affect business, or was that you got more business? How did that show up in your?
Yes. So COVID happened before I had even launched any product. so I was like never stuck with inventory. It almost kind of gave me an excuse. I was like, they're still not ready.
Good, good, yeah.
But it did prolong the process. It
Mm-hmm.
basically every product I sent back to China that they sent back to me would take 3 months instead of 3 weeks, and we were
Uh-huh.
still sampling. It was terrible. But at that same time, I was really able to like I said, like hone in, focus on the brand, the branding, even the product itself. It bought me a lot of time to perfect things, and be grateful that I didn't have tons of inventory and that I didn't have to fire people or lay people off. Like I was one woman show. It was it
Yeah.
was really I was very lucky. And then thankfully the bra still launched right before summer. If
Mm-hmm.
it would push me back 3 months, I would have been really annoyed, but it pushed me back from, like, a January launch
Oh,
to
perfect.
a May or June launch, which
Yeah.
was fine because no one's really wearing these, or less people are wearing them in the colder
Mhm.
months.
Makes sense. That's great. All right. Well, we are coming to the end of our interview time. So I'd love for you to share one more time where people can learn more about Perkies.
Yes, you can follow Instagram at myperkies, MyPerkies. And if you want to purchase Perkies, you can go to perkies.com, Perkies.com.
All right. Thank you again, Rosie, for being a
Thank
guest on the
you.
show. And for those tuning in, we'll be back after these messages. Stay tuned.
Thanks, Sheila.
If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mac show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today we are going to have a little talk about side hustle businesses, how to start and grow your own successful side business, side hustle, side gig, whatever you want to call it. And before I get started, it is still raining and crazy in California. So if you are at the main station, KCAA Radio, listening in California or across the globe, we are having some crazy weather just about everywhere. With California, we're getting hit by many, many storms. So I am sending safety prayers and blessings to all. And I just thought I'd share about how important creating an extra little, even if it's a little bit, it's a lot to have a nice side business, some extra stream of income coming in, because we don't know what's going to happen with maybe if you're working for a company. Look, we have floods closing businesses right now in California. You don't know. And so when you have a little extra income that you can put away, and that could become your full-time business. It could become something that fuels your whole household, let's just say. But starting off small is often the best. So I wanted just to get into a few points on how to get started. And it was incredible to have our friend from Perkies sharing about how she had her business grow and how she started this fun business on the side, which became a successful business. So, side hustle success. Starting a profitable side business can be a great way to turn your passion into a source of income. Whether you're looking to make some extra cash or eventually turn your side hustle into a full-time business, there are a few key steps that you should follow to ensure success. And I share about it often. I have had many businesses, very successful businesses, in retail, in real estate. I still do some retail and real estate on the side. So, yes, I still have some side gigs going on myself. The first thing to do today, we'll be discussing the steps you need to take to turn your passion into a profit. So, if you're not driving, then be prepared to take some notes. And if you are driving, don't worry. You can tune in to my show. I have all the shows saved on my new YouTube channel at Sheila Mac Show. and also archives at NBC's KCAA Radio. So you can find the archives there and watch the show again when you can. Take notes, so just listen on in. Step 1, identify your passion and skills. The first step in starting a side business is to figure out what you're passionate about and what skills you have that can be monetized. Whether it's a hobby or a skill you've developed at work, find something that you enjoy and are good at. 2, conduct market research. Before you start your business, it's important to understand who your target market is and what they are looking for. This will help you create a product or a service that meets your client's needs and sets you apart from your competition. So in my gift store days, starting out as this young, when I was 23 years young, starting my little stores, which were actually very big stores, I didn't know that at first. Like I was kind of young, let's just say that. And when you have kids that are over 23, you can say that. So I was a little young and very new to business. So I quickly discovered that the client base where I had my original gift store did not want the things that I wanted to sell. And I switched over. I surveyed the clients, the customers, clients that walked in. I got to figure out, what do they want? What do they like? What are they buying? What do they want me to provide for them? Because my job was, as a successful business, and what brought me success was I was serving the community where I was planted, really. And so that's really important to do. It's not about what you want, as it's more about how can you provide service and make it fun for yourself. The next thing is 3, create a business plan. A business plan is a roadmap for your business and will help you stay on track for your work to grow your side hustle. It should include your goals, target markets, marketing strategy, and financial projections. That is really important. I do help small businesses when they're starting out to create business plans, and you can check with other companies that do that, or also go to your SBA, Small Business Administration, for help getting your business started. Step 4 is to get started. Once you've done your research and created a plan, it's time to take action. Start small and scale up as you gain more customers and revenue. The step 5 is to network and market your business. One of the most important steps in growing your side business is to network and market it effectively. Reach out to potential customers. This is huge. When I started having to pay rent, I had this 5,000 square foot store, and I needed to start paying $5,000 a month after 6 months of free rent. I realized, holy smokes, I need to make more money. And I gambled on a marketing company. I hired a company that would teach me the basics. I wanted somebody that would work with me and teach me how to do a lot of it so I wouldn't have to pay a ton of money as I was just starting out. And my business, I mean, it 10x'd really quick, and it was amazing. So investing in marketing is going to make a huge difference when you're ready for that point. And it's really worth every penny to have a good marketing assistant, marketing help, a business coach or consultant. I do have some marketing packages that are coming out for small businesses that are super fairly priced, with my team and I helping businesses to get their marketing together. So that's something that I am offering, and it's also just check in and check around for somebody that you would like to work with, because marketing your business is going to make all the difference. Reach out to your potential customers, clients and partners and use social media and other digital marketing tools to promote your business. And that's something that I'm really good at, and that anybody that helps with marketing or business is going to be able to help you to create collaborative marketing programs and to help you actually save money on the way you're marketing. And that's very helpful. Now, I do have another show, a very special interview I did with Jay Abraham, who is the marketing professional. And so if you want to look back at the archives, go to SheilaMac.com or on YouTube, Sheila Mac Show, and you can watch that. It was actually a 2-hour special that was on the air. And so there you can get lots of marketing ideas as well from the expert. Now, step 6 is to continuously improve and adapt. Starting a side business is not a one-time event. It's a continuous process. As your business grows, always be on the lookout for ways to improve and adapt to the changing market. And things are a-changing. Yes, we are in a sea of change right now. So these side businesses can grow, but it is work. And it may be more work than you do at your job. So one of the other bonus steps is really, you need to have some self-discipline. When you're starting out, you can't hire everybody. You need some income coming in, and you need to be disciplined in order to actually get from the idea to the business plan to actually doing the steps that it takes to create the business. And so plan to put in some work. You got to roll your sleeves up and do the work, and then you can have a successful side business. Starting a side business can be a great way to pursue your passion and make extra money, but it does take that hard work and dedication. And by following these steps and staying focused, you can turn your side hustle into a successful business. Thank you for listening to our side hustle section of the show. And there will be more tips and advice for starting and growing your side business every week on this show. So continue to tune in, and here's a little bit more. If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mac Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and I have some news for you. Yes, you. I'm celebrating my 3rd year now on the station, and will be expanding the show to a global network as well. You may now find the Sheila Mac Show on all major podcasting channels, and if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, all the episodes are now available for viewing there as well. And I'm asking you for a quick favor. If you like the show, please help support the spread of this reboot channel on YouTube as well. My goal is to help as many people as possible through our interesting times to rebuild, reinvent, and reboot your business and personal life. I also wanted to share a little bit more about how I got here, what I do now, and how designing a business career and life on your terms is more than possible at any age or stage in life. I am an enterprisingly forward-thinking consultant, show host, and best-selling author. But how did I get here? Well, I began my career as an entrepreneur and property investment strategist back when I was 23 years young, when I boldly quit my government job with NASA JPL to open my first of 5 large gift stores while also starting to invest in property. I got to work with some of the world's most loved companies, such as negotiations on leases with Warner Brothers and winning trips to London as the top-selling Crabtree and Evelyn provider in the U.S. for multiple years. My stores were built on heart as I gave back to the community I came from. So now, some of you know this and some of you don't know this, but as a young girl with parents who were not well enough to care for me, I was homeless at age 10, then in foster care, where it was really hard to get a job while in the system. I finally emancipated at the age of 15 to start college early. While running my stores, I worked with a government program. Back then, it was called Job Training Partnership Act, making my stores an open source training site where close to 200 at risk youth started their careers. Yes, I began my career helping business leaders and working professionals to design a life they love where they can have success in their careers and get to the business of life. See, a funny thing happened along the way. When I first opened my gift store, it was kind of crazy because I was this young upstart. That's what a lot of the store owners called me. My first store was in Montrose, California, in this sweet little hometown shopping park with other stores and restaurants nearby. And so I was the young upstart that didn't know what she was doing. At least that's what everybody said. And I didn't really care what they said. At that age, their opinion was like, I don't really care. So that was probably a really good thing because I stayed focused on what I needed to do. And I had negotiated to lease out a 5,000 square foot gift store that needed a lot of work, and I got free rent and for about 6 months, and I had to start making the rent, which was 5,000 a month, which was a lot of money back then, $1 a square foot. And so I had to learn and relearn. I finally did hire quite soon in the game. I did hire a marketing expert, branding expert, I guess back then, and that lady really helped me to figure things out when I first started. And when you first start a business, especially when you're young, it was like I had no idea what to do, but I needed to learn because my rent was going to start coming due every month. And over that time, I started having more success. I did crazy things like stayed open until almost midnight every night, along with the restaurants who were very close to my store, while everybody else closed shop at about 5 or 6 p.m. So I was making more money from the start, and I just really, my store was to help my kids, and the products I sold was whatever the community wanted. I sold lots of things to people in the entertainment industry. I worked with cruise ships. I worked with many different people in the community. And later on, the store owners actually came to me and asked me if I would consult them and help them. I actually started buying my other buildings because I didn't like the idea of paying rent for years and years and years and not building equity. So I did get my real estate license through that and invested and bought my other 4 store buildings. And lots of the other store owners worked with me, paid me to consult and help them do what I was doing. And I didn't really even know it was called consulting. I just knew how to figure it out, I guess. And so that's how I started my career. And now, I raised 6 children, all that, and now they're grown. And so I get to come to work every day and do what I naturally do best as an enterprising and forward-thinking business leader. Through my show, courses, and live events, I guide entrepreneurs and working professionals like you through the profitable steps of building a business, creation to expansion, marketing from planning to implementation, wealth preservation through strategic planning and, yes, real estate investing, and lifestyle design so that you can earn more while getting back to the business of living your best life. So I do invite you to tune in here to KCAA Radio, and also I would really appreciate it if you went to my YouTube channel, Sheila Mac Show, and gave a subscribe and a listen to some of your favorite shows. And I do have some other exciting things, including a free gift to thank you. So if you go to www.sheilamac.com, that's SHEILAMAC, SheilaMac.com, there you can get a free gift to get started on your reboot this year. And now back to the show.
Necessitated. You need a guide to show you how we get through a situation like this, to give you resources and to help you get out of the emotional pea soup fog of dealing with a crisis and the resulting fallout. I've been there, and I'm here to help you. Out of the fog. If you weren't emotionally bound up in your situation, you would have more clarity. You would be able to see your best options for dealing with whatever comes up. If the version of yourself who has already walked through this rock bottom and come out the other end could go back in time and give you, the you right now, some advice, what would she say? Would she tell you to slow down, to stop rushing, that you don't have to have all the answers today? Would the future you recommend not making any major decisions without reviewing them first, particularly while you're still in the fog? Would she tell you that normal is going to look different for a while, but that you will feel normal again? In case we haven't invented time travel by the time you read this book, I'm here to tell you all of the above. I developed the Boots formula to help you learn to make choices, have a life shift, and make great things happen based on your individual values and best life vision. A change is going to happen, and it's worth it. There's a stage where it feels like everyone in your life is picking at you. Life itself may seem like it's trying its best to stop you from doing whatever you want to do. All you hear is, "That's a stupid idea," and "That's never going to work," and "Who do you think you are?" One of the hardest things for people to do is to realign and possibly walk away from anything and anyone that conflicts with their value systems. But you are going to discover that power within yourself. Through the activities and examples in this book, you will discover your true north and will be able to easily do what is needed to move forward with your life. Anything that hurts you, that doesn't resonate for you, that fights against what you want and believe in, you are going to give it the boot. Once you have turned your rock bottom moment into a positive, beautiful life shift, you can live your life on your terms. Your life will probably look different, but you get to design it this time. You are taking your life back, and you are in charge, not anybody else. Sooner than you can imagine, you'll be in the career of your dreams or the relationship you always wanted. Because you are going to learn to develop healthy boundaries. Because you are going to do things differently along the way from here to there. You will begin to attract the people, the job, the place to live, all of the opportunities that align with who you are, your essence, your truth, not anybody else's or even society's expectations of the way you're supposed to be. Once you have accepted that you are in charge of living your life and you begin to embody living your truth, people are going to see you. They're going to be inspired by you. Then you're going to hear, "Hey, can you show me how you did that? I want to do it too." When you assess your peer group and up-level according to your life purpose and vision, and once you have created a life shift for yourself, whatever that looks like, your life is not just full, it's fulfilled. Not only do you get more and better sleep, you wake up feeling rested and happy. You know that you're doing what you need to do. Yes, sometimes your heart will call you to leave certain friends or family members in order to find a more aligned peer group. From what I've seen, however, the ones who leave always return to lead their family and friends to success. Because your friends are more in alignment with your beliefs and value system, they support you while also pushing you toward your personal best. Life still involves work, but as a whole, it feels far more effortless. But you don't have to wait for the right person, right job, or right investment opportunity to show up. You can start living now so that every moment as you go forward through the process of recovering from rock bottom and redesigning your life is one more step to being the best version of you, the one who came.
All right, if you are looking to reinvent life on your terms, if you are grieving, experiencing financial turmoil, career shifts, relationship problems, parenting, elder care, victims of abuse, breaking free from an addiction, or seeking an overall business and lifestyle redesign, then you may need a reboot. It is not size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation. Tune in again right here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Follow me on LinkedIn at Sheila Mac, where I write some articles on recession-proofing your business and personal life.
Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheila Mac's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. So if life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.sheilamac.com today.